Welcome to the Dark Wave YouTube series from Kaw Films, where we dive deep into character development in science fiction. This is the origin story of the world's first superhero, who happens to be interracially mixed. How did his parents meet? How did his grandparents react, and how did they overcome prejudices? Tune in to join the journey of Dark Wave. Please like and share and subscribe. Your support will bring love into your life. Enjoy!
Dark Wave.
Dark Wave, Episode 3, The Professor's Wrath.
A few months had passed since everything changed. Gia and James were closer than ever. Too close, some would say. Especially one person, Dr. Kim. At Yonhwa University, the top university in South Korea, appearances mattered. Expectations mattered, especially to Dr. Kim, an old-school professor with a reputation for discipline and control. Jia's growing connection with a foreign student did not go unnoticed. And though Dr. Kim never said it outright, he didn't have to. He reacted. At first, it was subtle. Jia was asked to stay behind after lectures to help clean up, organize papers, run menial errands, tasks no one else was assigned. She didn't complain, not once. She thought she could handle it. But slowly it wore her down, having to stay up late till dawn studying for her exams. The vibrant spark in her eyes dimmed. Her shoulders slumped under the invisible weight of being overworked. She smiled less and spoke less. In time, James noticed. She would normally meet him at certain times of the day while going to the same classes, but now it's every other week. Dr. Kim's plans are working, but at what cost? James tried not to assume at first, tried to respect her space. But in time, the silence between them started to feel wrong, like something or someone was forcing them apart. Eventually, James asked around. He did a little detective work. At first, a few classmates hesitated, then eventually, one told him the truth. Dr. Kim was targeting Jia. He had overheard the professor, vowing to stop her from seeing that student. So he was doing it on purpose. And it was obviously because of James. Dr. Kim believed Jia was getting distracted, that her time with James, the foreigner, was pulling her away from what really mattered. In his eyes, her future, her reputation, even the university's prestige were at stake. So, he made a choice. A cruel one and intentional. He didn't just want Jia away from James, he wanted to save her from James. He felt it was in her best interest, despite the strain it was causing her. James wasn't a confrontational person. Not usually. But this wasn't about him anymore. This was about someone he couldn't stay silent for. He knocked though the door was open. The echo traveled down the corridor. Dr. Kim responded.
Yeah. Yeah.
James, with a respectful bow, replies.
Professor, may I have a moment? It's about Gia, sir.
Dr. Kim looked at James and gave a short nod and motioning him to step inside the office. Then Dr. Kim gave a sharp.
What about her?
James stepped into the office. The lights buzzed overhead. Books lined every shelf, neatly, precisely. James drew a slow but steady breath and said,
She's been staying behind after every class, doing work that no one else has to do. I understand students should contribute, but this feels and is targeted.
Dr. Kim then leaned back in his chair as though he was about to give a sermon, then extending his indexed finger with a long, aggressive frown responded.
Student Miniker, are you questioning my teaching methods?
James exhaled slowly, his voice calm but firmly replied.
I'm questioning why Gia is the only one being treated this way.
The office now in silence with tension building up. Suddenly, a pencil rolled off the edge of the desk, hitting the floor with a small, sharp clack. Dr. Kim crossed his arms and looked at James with icy cold eyes, and in the same tone as his look, he replied,
Miss Jia is a bright, promising student, but lately her focus has been elsewhere. She's been seen very often with you, student James. Humph, and not in the way a student aspiring for top placement should be, in my opinion.
And there it was. The truth behind the mistreatment. Dr. Kim wasn't just disciplining Gia, he was trying to control her future by severing anything that didn't fit his ideal of what a top Korean student should be. But James didn't cower down. He stood his ground like a black knight against a powerful mean dragon. James, quiet but unwavering, responded.
With respect, sir, whomever she chooses to spend her time with outside of class is her business, not yours.
Dr. Kim then leaned back in his chair as though he was about to give a sermon, then extending his indexed finger with a long aggressive frown responded.
Everything on this campus is my business when it reflects on Yanawa. I've seen students lose everything to distractions and other things, and I refuse in fact to let Gia to become one of those losers.
His eyes bore into James, his authority unmistakable. James, though, held his ground like a soldier, knowing that speaking out against a professor in Korea was no small matter. In a respectful tone, James then says,
With all due respect, sir, she doesn't fit your definition of a distracted student. In fact, if there is any distraction, it's her being punished for being human, which is making her feel exhausted with the pressure of being a top student already. And from experience, I can tell you that no one deserves to be punished for that. I certainly respect you, sir, but fairness matters, and so does a student's health. If you keep this up with Gia, she is doomed to fail as a student due to stress, fatigue, and a lack of proper rest. All are essential to any student, but especially your top performers. I'm already considered among the top 3 students on campus, and soon, Gia will lose her spot in that position. If extra work is necessary, then all students should receive it, not just Gia.
Humph, and if I don't?
And then I'll have no choice but to report this matter to the department. And I believe the other students might have something to say as well. And if her parents get a hold of what you did to their daughter, how do you think they will react?
A flicker of fear, annoyance, perhaps even fear, passed across Dr. Kim's face. The weight of potential embarrassment, of a student challenging him so directly yet respectfully, settled in the air between them. After a long pause, Dr. Kim finally turned away, muttering under his breath.
잘난 척하는 사람.
Dr. Kim scoffed, followed by a dry laugh escaping his lips, was actually impressed that he would stand up for a Korean student. Though no one will admit, this college often caters to foreign students because of money, however, he responds.
Fine, I was done with her anyway. You may go now. And do not cause any more trouble, young man, because I have my eye on you. Humph.
In that moment, something in James shifted. For once, he didn't feel like the outsider. He felt like someone standing their ground for what mattered. Whether Dr. Kim listened or not didn't matter now. James had made his choice. James bowed again, not in submission, but in acknowledgement. Then, without another word, he left, knowing Gia wouldn't have to carry this burden alone anymore. Word spread fast, everywhere in Yanawa University. James' reputation was already formidable, but now it had evolved into legendary status. Gia, in time, found out about the confrontation a few days later from her classmates. They told her how James had stood up to Dr. Kim, how he had ensured that the unfair treatment stopped. She was overwhelmed with gratitude and had wondered why the professor stopped the chores. This experience, and James being her knight in shining armor, caused her heart to swell with a mixture of emotions that was about to explode, for in fact, Gia was falling in love, and it was with James.